Heading in the front straight, better be set on their way. For the 5-horse field, for these juvenile paces. Green lights on, and they're off and pacing. Coming out pretty well was Mr. Excessive, also with Rock and Fury. Hurricane Dusty began well as well, but on the outside is Mr. Excessive is going to make its way to lead pretty comfortably. Going in behind it, Rock and Fury. Caught out wide, there was Hurricane Dusty, Dash and Dot, and Miss Tyler. Back last of all the talent in the field. So they're all trying to find their positions, all making their way in Indian file. For the 5-horse field, for these juvenile paces, they're making their way into the Aldebaran Park back straight. First of 2 times going to be approaching that mile marker. Tempo's been pretty well as it's Mr. Excessive in front. For Charlie Castles, in second position for Glenn Douglas's Rock and Fury. Also with a Hurricane Dusty for Rob Brown. Dash and Dot for Jaden Bruin and for Abby Sanderson. Miss Tyler at the tail end of the field. No moves have been made yet. Still all in file. They passed the mile marker, past the Lord's Raceway Bendigo sign. Heading out the back straight. Got to be round in that corner. And it's still Mr. Excessive. Got a pretty comfortable lead in front, this horse. Setting the tempo in front. It's not overly fast as they're passing the lather upside. Going to be cruising into the front straight. For the 5-horse field, for these young pacers, and it's Mr. Excessive in front of Rock and Fury. Also with Hurricane Dusty. Dash and Dot fall back the pegs, and back last of all the time the field, seeing them off Miss Tyler. No moves have been made yet. The bell chimes have got a lap to go. And it's still Mr. Excessive. It's opening up the tempo a little bit more quicker now as they're passing the bell. In the second position was still Rock and Fury. Getting a bit keen in the third was Hurricane Dusty. 4 back to peg still was Dash and Dot, and back last of all, still seeing them off, was Miss Tyler. As approaching the 800 metres, heading down to Aldebaran Park back straight for the final time. Moving one off now in the deaf position was Rock and Fury. Taking a shortcut up on the inside was Hurricane Dusty. Back in the fourth position was still Dash and Dot and Miss Tyler, but it's still Mr. Excessive. Still got about a metre in front of Rock and Fury. Trying to level with it now as they're heading into Aldebaran Park back straight for the final time. Passing the 600 metres. Passing the Lord's Raceway Bendigo sign for the final time, and it's still Mr. Excessive of Rock and Fury on the outside. It's about a neck away. Hurricane Dusty in behind it, hoping for a sprint lane run. Moving one off and taking its way into the 1-1 position was Dash and Dot. And back last of all was Miss Tyler. They passed the 400 metres. About to pass the lather upside. Putting its nose in front now was Rock and Fury of Mr. Excessive. Mr. Excessive still trying to fight on the inside as they ran in the Goddess Row Real Estate home turn. Mr. Excessive and Rock and Fury. Mr. Excessive fighting back. Rock and Fury on the outside trying to put its nose in front. Out wide there was Miss Tyler. Also with Dash and Dot. Miss Tyler out wide there. Rock and Fury under a bit of pressure now. Miss Tyler out wide. On the inside, Dash and Dot. Dash and Dot. They're all going together. Dash and Dot. Miss Tyler. They hit it together. It was very close. Either one of the two, Miss Tyler or Dash and Dot. Either third was Rock and Fury or Mr. Excessive and Hurricane Dusty back last of all.